Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network. And we do it around the world. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners out in Latin America. So thank you so much for that. Also, you good old boys out in Berlin, Germany, as well as the great country of Canada. Also, Big C, I want to say thank you to the good old boys in Australia. You know, Cal Berkeley starts college football tonight in Australia against Hawaii, of all places. I know there's two smart schools, but they can't figure out in geography. California and Hawaii are a lot closer airtime than going to Australia, Big C, so something's going on there. Also, I want to say hello to you good old boys all throughout the United States of America, and college football is definitely kicking off. We were just up at the University of Nevada watching the Wolfpack get ready for college football. They're also playing Notre Dame and Purdue out of the Big Ten, Big C. But I want to know that you good old boys down in the South, are you ready for what's going to happen to you good old boys in Alabama against USC, Big C?
Oh, yeah, we're ready for USC to kick off the football, Charlton, because that's going to be their best play of the game is the opening kickoff. So after that, they're going to get kicked off in. So, they'll get the boot put to them. And, it's nothing personal. Alabama does that to just about everybody. But bringing one of those left coast teams in the middle of the country,
right.
they're going to leave all their talent behind.
Well, I think there was a song by Kool in the Gang. Actually, it was by Kool in the Gang. I said, no, it was Heat Wave back in the day. They had a song called Boogie Nights, but they also had a song called Leave No Trouble Behind, cause rain, shine, don't mind, we're riding on the groove line. I know they sing it better than I do, Big C, but I still remember that song back in the day. So much excitement going on around the world of football. We just saw NFL football last night with the Dallas Cowboys. They were playing the Seattle Seahawks up in Pete Carroll country. Also, you have tonight the 49ers. They're playing home to the Green Bay Packers at Levi Stadium. And then the Raiders also have a game coming up on the weekend. But just your thoughts, Big C, on how things are looking in the world of football, whether it's college or the NFL. I know you're very excited about both, Big C.
Well, Charlton, it's getting very, very exciting, when you think about it. You talk about the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers playing tonight, Charlton. You can think about the success that Colin Kaepernick has had against that organization. When you look at the comparison of quarterbacks, and San Francisco has three now.
Yeah.
You got Christian Ponder, who they just brought in a week and a half ago. You got Blaine Gabbert they brought in midway through last season. And you also have the incumbent, Colin Kaepernick, who has beaten the Packers up and down, Charlton, when you think about it. They have not had an answer for him defensively. And, I want to give tribute to Frank Isola from Around the Horn on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
He utilized the piece we did last night on Colin Kaepernick and Chip Kelly. I think he missed two words that we utilized. But I want to, pay a tribute to Frank Isola from Around the Horn on ESPN for doing a marvelous job of believing what we say, Charlton.
Yeah.
That what we say is factual and true talk and real sports, Charlton.
Well, I tell you, I'm excited about the plagiarism that goes on in the world of broadcasting. Broadcast is something else because in the world of radio and in the world of TV and the podcast is really let the cream rise to the top. I know a lot of times people get a job on network, TV, or radio because of who they know. And then this podcast world has opened up the door to allow people who were always marginalized and ostracized from the good old boy networks to come and compete against them. And I believe just like athletes, Big C, they're talking to competing against each other. We put them out into the NFL Combine or whether it's the NBA or even baseball, they have their minor league system. They have to compete. I think Craig James, one of the Pony Express, he with Eric Dickerson down at SMU back in the day in Texas, he had this broadcast school where he would bring people in and they would hone up on their skills. Okay, that meant you put your best foot forward and people can decide if they like you or not. Now, you can't please everybody, but if your knowledge is real, then people are going to emulate that. That's sometimes the best form of flattery, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
Well, you speak about Craig James, probably played in the best tandem backfield in college football history. That's when you, along with the great Eric Dickerson. He came out of college, he went to the Washington Generals of the USFL, league is folded. That's what made the Donald Trump help fold.
He folded like a blanket.
Where he was a 1,000-yard rusher with the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
And, a marvelous player. He spent many years on ESPN as a game analyst.
Yeah.
doing a marvelous job over the years. He ended up losing his job because of controversy with his son and Mike Leach down at Texas Tech. He outspoke against a coach, and the network no longer...
Wait a minute, Big C. You're saying if you speak your mind in the great state of Texas, that they also have politics? Is that part of what helps you keep or lose a job, Big C?
Well, it wasn't politics of Texas, Charlton. It was the politics
CBS.
of ESPN.
Oh, ESPN,
Not
okay.
wanting a free-thinking broadcaster on the network. They're wanting someone who stays to the script.
Yeah.
And not speak about anything else. And so he lost his job. But as you spoke about, he held a clinic every year to help young people become broadcasters, Charlton. And he did a marvelous job at it. But when you think about broadcasting as a whole, and we've constantly talked about it, what can broadcasters bring to the world of social America?
Yeah.
They have a voice every game, Charlton, a captive voice for over 3 hours every game. But none of them will touch on social issues, Charlton. And they're the most important people talking about social issues. The nightly news on television, Charlton, lasts 30 minutes. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
A sporting event lasts 3 hours or more.
Yeah.
Let some of these broadcasters get some cojones, step out of the box, say something about social issues.
Well, first they have to know what cojones are, Big C. And speaking of cojones, this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive one, let them know that Charlton and Big C sent you. Now, Big C, a great thing happened when I was thinking about just what's going to happen in the world of college football. We talked about college football has already started. It might be a surprise to you good old boys down in the Southeastern Conference, but Cal Berkeley's playing tonight against Hawaii. And that game is in Australia. We also have people listening to Charlton and Big C Sports from Australia.
Way down south.
That's
way down south.
They tried to beat you guys. They went way down south. Big C, the land of, the land of pretty islands down there in Australia. But
the land of down under.
Down under. And now, you know why? I heard one of the broadcasters up here in the Northern California market saying, why in the world would Cal Berkeley and Hawaii fly to Australia, a 15-hour flight, to play a college football game where none of the athletes will get any money, Big C, okay? Only the universities do. And he needs to know because they're getting $1 million just for the University of Cal Berkeley, for the higher, institution of higher learning. They get $1 million to help pad their pockets for the University of California, Berkeley. That's why they're flying down there, Big C. I think that's a bit egregious because it's not fair for the student athletes to put them on a plane and fly them 15 hours to play a college football game without compensation. Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, the thing that I've learned most about that, Charlton, is the injuries. From the time change, from the compression in the plane that your body loses so many fluids, and hopefully they hydrated the players efficiently on the plane, but also it's hot down in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
A little hotter than what it is in Hawaii and also in Berkeley,
in the Bay Area. Yeah.
So these are the things that you have to be cautious about. And also players go down there. You're not going to have the same mindset if you were playing a home or a regular road game.
Yeah.
But you travel 15 hours. And you normally travel no more than 4 hours for a game. But 15 hours of airtime.
That's too much.
You lose the day in time. This is not about the player's well-being.
Yeah.
This is what people need to understand in college football. Are you concerned with the player's health?
Health? They gave them Gatorade.
For 15 hours to play a game.
Big C, they give them Gatorade. What else do you want? You guys are picky nowadays, man. Back in the day.
They give them Gatorade.
I guess they need to give them moonshine or something. Also, Big C, just your thoughts. I want to ask you before we get into a little bit of the football and talking about the top 100 players in the NFL. I saw there was a program last night, and I missed it. I was out watching the University of Nevada practice football, and there was something with, I think it's Mrs. Hill from ESPN. Renelle Hill. So they had her hosted a program, and I think it was about, can you just go into what it was about, Big C? I don't recall seeing it.
Well, Charlton, it was about social consciousness.
Yeah.
How can black athletes create more of an opportunity for young African-American males, Charlton? And we spoke about this last night prior to the game, to the show, okay?
Yeah.
That there's no hope. America has to be realistic about when there's hope and there's no hope.
Yeah.
In inner city America, in most major cities, especially up in the Northeast, Northwest, there's no hope for young African-American males, Charlton. Industry is left. Corporate America has abandoned them.
Yeah.
Now, you can get all the athletes to donate 10, 15, 20% of their income, Charlton. it won't make a major impact. It is a beautiful thing to see it done.
Yeah.
But it will not make a major impact until we create jobs. Anybody can take a handout.
Yeah.
But, it's like Jesus said, Charlton. You can teach a man to fish, and he can eat every day.
Yeah.
Or you can just feed him for the day.
Yeah.
These young men want to be fed every day, Charlton. They don't want to sit there for a handout. They just want an opportunity. We talk about opportunities through education.
Yeah.
We talk about opportunities through the stock market. But unless those things exist in these communities, you can have all the town hall meetings, all the forums that you want, and you hold this town hall meeting in Chicago.
Yeah.
2,700 people prior to last night's show had been shot in the city of Chicago. But, the national news only wants to concentrate on what's going on in the Middle East, Charlton.
Yeah.
Let them talk about Chicago every night. They talk about the children dying in the Middle East, and unfortunately, nobody wants to see a child die.
Exactly.
But there's children that die. There's somebody's child that dies every day in Chicago, or is shot every day in Chicago. That's what you have to look at. These are the problems why I said there's no hope in America. And we can concentrate on Chicago, but we can look at Detroit. We can look at Cleveland. We can look at New York. We can look at Miami. We look at all these major hotspots, Charlton. There's no hope.
Well, see, Big C, that's something also, and I'll take a little bit different angle with that. I think there is hope, and the hope that we have, I know a lot of people respected the great Ronald Reagan, and maybe it doesn't make sense to say this, but he said, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. We know that in this political system that we have, it's financial, it's economic, and there's law. Those three pillars of law of what makes the United States great. We have our Constitution, but people need opportunity. And where I'm asking for my white brethren to come out is understand this. It's going to take someone who's bold.
Let me tell you, let me cut you off here for a second. Okay,
Yeah.
You talk about the Constitution. You have to realize who wrote the Constitution, okay, Charlton? Let's be realistic about that. And when the Constitution was written, how does the Constitution start? We the people, of the people, for the people, okay, Charlton?
Yeah.
Who were the people of America at the time that the Constitution was written?
Well, I understand that not everybody was equal at that time.
That's the crux of the problem that we have, Charlton.
Yeah.
Whether it's in sports, whether it's in social life. Then you also got to look, Charlton, at the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment was right to bear arms against tyranny, Charlton.
Yeah.
Against the invasion of another country or another foreign force.
Right.
All right? We're not facing that anymore. But we have the gun lobbyists and the NRA fighting for the right to bear arms. I don't have any problem with anybody using a long rifle like they did at the time when the Constitution was written.
Right.
But you got to understand that the gun lobby, the gun business, and especially the bullet business, is very profitable.
Well, see, and I
think about the price. No, it's a long run economically, Charlton, because the minute somebody is shot by a gun, and that bullet only costs pennies, okay, maybe $1.
Right.
Okay, so what's the price of a funeral, Charlton? What's the price of loss of life?
Yeah.
Okay, does it have a value? And so when we think about these young men who want to play sports, Charlton, who want to have a future, and is knocked out by the Second Amendment right of America, the Second Amendment right is to be held culpable for accessory to murder or homicide.
Well, see, and I understand that too, Big C, and I just want to give our sponsor credit. This segment is also sponsored by your California Lottery. What could a buck do for you? As I've been mentioning, I actually been hoping and praying. I'm listening to Jesse Jackson when he said, keep hope alive. I think I hit that Powerball that's coming up on Saturday, but there's also a Mega Million on Friday. So what could a buck do for you? Go out and spend $1 on a lotto ticket and see if you can help keep the economy. Supposedly that money goes, at least half of it goes to the schools. And Big C, what I'd like to say also is I understand that progress happens, and that program that ESPN did last night, I didn't see it, but I know LeBron James putting his money where his mouth is, and he's invested in this project to help create the next investor, like on Shark Tank. And I think what Charlton and Big C Sports has done that a lot of people are starting to copy, and that's why ESPN did this show. The fact that they only use African Americans, I think they're missing the boat, because it's going to take all people coming together. We got to teach this entrepreneurship, because if men don't have hope and women don't have hope, then you don't have a cause. There's no reason to live right. Now, where I think my white brethren can come in handy, and I want to get your opinion on this. This football season's kicking off. Everybody's hyped about it, at least here in California, and I know on the West Coast, and especially you good old boys down south. But if sports can bring people together, and we can have the same color uniforms, cheer for the same teams, and we're all different colors, men and women in the stadiums. We have our kids and grandparents watching to cheer on a team. why can we not have diversity when it talks about solutions for creating jobs for people the way LeBron James is trying to do? And I think he's stepped out of the forefront a lot more than Michael Jordan has done, a lot more than Tom Brady has done, a lot more than Troy Aikman has done. And even if you look at, John Elway for the Denver Broncos, what has he done to help create jobs for inner city kids? And I think this is so important. As we look at most of the colleges that are starting to start up right now all throughout the country, most of the kids going to college are Caucasian, because their parents have the financial structure to send them there. There are a lot of black kids. I was just up at the University of Nevada. About 80% of their team is African American. Most of them are there on scholarship. It's free labor, but it's going to help the school make money, and that's perpetuated all over the country. When it comes to our brethren, black and white, discussing what's needed to help the next man create an opportunity for himself and his family, it's going to take black and white. And so that's why I'm disappointed in the lack of white male participation when we start talking about how to make things better for men, black men and women of all colors, Big C. Why are white men afraid to step up and say what could help? Because obviously they live the example for the most part, pejoratively. If you look at the high pillars of the university, the presidents are Caucasian. The CEOs of the university, the Caucasian. The ones who founded the university, they're Caucasian men. Most jobs, when you go out to send out your resume, you're talking to a CEO who's usually Caucasian. The workforce is mostly Caucasian. In the broadcast business, most of the CEOs, they're all Caucasian. The broadcast associates are Caucasian. So wouldn't they have a clue as to how to help the young black and Hispanic men, Big C? Why do they not exercise that right, Big C?
Well, Charlton, it's about economics when they look at that. Who is making their money? Who is making their universities popular? Because if we were talking about equality as far as broadcast, why don't we see Wake Forest and Vanderbilt opening up the season, Charlton? Those college football teams are probably 75% Caucasian.
Yeah.
They're not dominant African-American college football teams, nor do they have dominant winning records, Charlton. So why don't you open up the season with them instead of a traditional West Coast power in USC and a traditional Southern power in Alabama?
Yeah.
Well, when you look at the starters in this game, Charlton, you're going to have at least 80% on each side of the ball be African American.
Yeah.
And dominant athletes, Charlton. So it's purely about economics. These presidents, these deans, these board regents, they will go out and talk about the prominence of their sports teams, Charlton.
Yeah, their sports
but
teams.
They're not talking about helping these sports teams, Charlton, gain financially. If they're lucky enough to become a professional athlete, the first thing they ask them, Charlton, is when are they going to pay back their scholarship?
Yeah.
When are they going to donate to their university?
Yeah.
When are they going to set up an endowment? This is the thing that is asked all the time. I remember when I left college, and I had a little bit of success.
Yeah.
I was asked that continuously by the assistant athletic director, when are you going to pay back your scholarship? I was an African-American, Charlton, who came from an impoverished situation.
Yeah.
But I was asked, they didn't ask any of those players that were my teammates that were Caucasian, hey, that went on and got their degrees also, when are you going to pay back your scholarship?
Yeah.
Who went on to be lawyers, some doctors, some in the tech world.
Yeah.
They were never asked that question, Charlton. But I, as an African-American athlete, was asked to give back what they had given to me like it was a loan.
Well,
I made them money, Charlton. I made them a lot of money.
And see, Big C, this is so important to me, and I love the sports business, and we'll get into a little bit of what happened with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. I know Tony Romo was injured, but I want to say this too, and I want to say it after this segment. This segment is also sponsored by United Labor Life Insurance, guaranteed $100,000 life insurance. We're also endorsed by the American Cancer Society and the American Heart Association. We're also endorsed by all of the unions in the United States under the AFL-CIO, and I'm looking for 1,000 licensed insurance brokers to help go to work protecting American families. So Charlton and Big C Sports are actually offering work to help American families. We're helping to put people back to work to build the economy. I want to bring this up because it's very poignant. I remember when I was a young boy and I was playing sports, I had a Caucasian head coach who treated me like I was his son while I played football. I remember him asking me, hey, are you going to play basketball too? And I said, I need to work on my grades. He walked away from me as I was someone that he never even knew, Big C. And to me, as a young boy, it was kind of shocking because here's a man I've been in his house. And I want to say this for all the coaches and all the student body out there you think someone likes you because you're big, strong, and if you're black, they want to get you on their football or basketball team. and they're going to treat you like they love you. And I'm speaking honestly here. This might be too painful for some people to hear, but I'd be a sycophant if I didn't admit it. There were times when I thought the man really cared about me, and he did as long as I played sports for him. I never got paid for it. It was free labor for him, and he was a college teacher, but he had to get the chance to get money from my labor and the labor of all the other athletes. So why does Charlton and Big C Sports think it's so important? Because you're not going to hear this elsewhere, even though ESPN tried to emulate it last night. If we cannot get our white brethren who will cheer for us at a football game, they'll broadcast a game, whether it's someone like a Bill McDonald or a Bob Fitzgerald, or Dan Belwamany, or a Tom Hammond, or even a Gus Johnson, African American. He's great. You have guys like Terry Bradshaw is great. Tom Jackson, who just left ESPN. James Brown does commentating as well. You know, we have so many great broadcasters out there, black and white. And we all cheer for the black kid when he has on a uniform. But when he takes off his uniform, you cannot identify him by a school affiliation or a team affiliation. It reminds me of when I was looking for work in the broadcast business, and some of my white brethren, they would say, Charlton, are you working the Oakland Raider game next week? And I said, I don't know, I'm waiting for a call from the producer. And he says, why are you waiting for a call? I said, because I asked them and they said they have to get back to me. Well, they were always signed for the whole year, my white counterparts. Did any of them stand up for me? Only one person did. And he said, well, you do a good job. Why don't you get a whole contract? And I said, I've been asking and trying, but I was only usually one of two African Americans with all the broadcast production crews. So I'm not going to be the sycophant and let them off the hook. I think our white brethren are the ones who have to also address what it takes to make life better for the next black kid. I'm intelligent, college educated, but I was still marginalized by the networks. I'm talking CBS, Fox, and ABC Sports. I'm not shy about saying that because it's a fact. And I hope that some of our other black brethren, men and women in the business, will ask their white counterparts, why do you not want to come with me and talk on a program that can help open up opportunities for black Americans, Big C? Is that important, Big C? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it is greatly important, Charlton. And I think about the program last night to reiterate back on that. Now, why didn't ESPN put the great Chris Berman out there in the forefront of that show?
Oh, my goodness. That's a home run right there.
You know, that's where even Bob Levy, these are the top two senior broadcasters at ESPN, who are aware of all the social issues in America. They've made their living for the past 2 or 3 decades, Charlton, all the African-American males broadcasting them on television, Charlton. These are the people. Yes, Janelle Hill did a beautiful job. Respect her to the utmost.
She's amazing.
But ESPN dropped the ball by not putting their leading white commentators on the broadcast last night. They are the ones who hold America captive every day. He has a show in the middle of the day. Chris Berman has done prime time. He does every major event. He's at the Masters.
Yeah.
He's at the U.S. Open. He's all around at ESPN top things. So ESPN does not rate this as a top event because it concentrated on just solely African Americans.
And he sat with Tom Jackson, and Tom Jackson understands discrimination. He's not a sycophant. He's not a dumb person. He's someone that's very elegant. I know he's moved on from ESPN, but how could you call yourself his friend, and you know that people who look like him may even be someone who's related to him that goes through the same ostracizing that happens to black men getting into the media, that happens to every person that you're cheering for when they have a uniform on. So I'm not a sycophant, and I'm a lion. I believe I'm very bold, and some people don't like that when you're black and bold. If you're like Donald Trump, if you're white and bold, they love that. But I'm challenging all of my white brothers, not the ones who are benefiting from discrimination and they like it, the ones who understand that right is right, wrong is wrong. I'm pro-women, I'm pro-black and white. I don't care if you're straight or gay, it doesn't matter to me. I believe everyone should have equality. That's what Dr. King gave his life for, and I would be a sycophant if I behaved like 90% of our brethren in media. I know there's a problem, and there's no one trying to find a solution. Carmelo Anthony said he doesn't know the answer for everything, but he's willing to engage in dialogue. So I applaud LeBron James for doing what he's doing in Cleveland with that new investment program, trying to help people create the next Silicon Valley or the next someone that's going to be great, whether it's math and science or the next doctor, the next broadcaster, insurance broker, no matter what it is, Big C.
Well, there's even a bagel shop, Charles.
Even a bagel shop.
Someone hope and opportunity.
Hope and opportunity. So speaking of hope and opportunity, on the iHeartRadio network every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m., Charlton and Big C Sports, you're going to get it real here. It might be too painful for somebody because they're comfortable. But until we get the great Bob Costas, who's so erudite, at least they portray him that way, but socially I give him an F. because I've never heard him stand out and say anything other than, hey, this guy's a great athlete, or what a great tennis player, or God bless the United States, they had a great showing at the Olympics. I've never heard of just anything that Muhammad Ali stood for. So to me, Bob Costas is a waste of time because he's there as a guy who's not a paragon of virtue. He's just simple. He takes the easy route. Same thing with Hannah Storm. She's great. She's female. A lot of Caucasian women benefited from civil rights movements. But when it comes to speaking about equality with the other black broadcasters, they push all the black sportscasters off to an island by themselves and say, hey, you guys figured out we're very comfortable. And I love and respect Brent Musburger, but why not Brent Musburger and Bob Costas and Al Michaels have a white think tank about what it takes to bring young African minorities, people, whether black Americans or whether it's Hispanic Americans or even women, what it takes to bring them into this network of affluence and opportunity, because Bob Costas and Brent Musburger and Al Michaels, they're the paragon and they're the apex of the broadcast business. If my son wants to get into broadcasting, unfortunately, he can't listen to those guys because they're so comfortable. Jim Nantz, I don't respect him other than calling a golf shot. He never says anything that benefits young black people. And not just young black people, young white people too. I want to ask all of our white broadcasters, my brethren, my friends, to have the same consciousness that Miss Hill had last night and talk about what it's going to take to make all of our kids have hope again, Big C. It can't just be Charlton Big C Sports and Jim Brown. Your thoughts on that, Big C?
Well, Charlton, as I said, hope is the key. Athletics is the number one hope. It's either athletics or it's rap music, Charlton. That athletes, not athletes, that African Americans tend to draw to.
Yeah.
But those are limited opportunities, Charlton. How many athletes do we have? How many rappers do we have? We need something with longevity, something with a pension plan, Charlton, something with a health plan. That's what you're looking for. Yes, professional sports have that, but we talked about it. I was having a talk today with an individual that there's some 25 to 30,000 senior college football players every year, Charlton.
Wow.
When you bring in all the levels from the Division 1, 1AA, Division 2, Division 3, NAIA, Charlton, and some of these other, non-ranking divisions.
Yes.
So when you're looking at some 30,000 and 150 to 180 get an NFL job, Charlton, but we also have 180 NFL people become unemployed.
Yeah.
So when we talk about hope, Charlton, it's nice to see a young man make a team, but also an older young man has just lost his employment.
Yeah.
Where does he go, Charlton? So where's that longevity opportunity? We're not teaching our young people how to be doctors, lawyers, other people in the social service industry. People who can have longevity, Charlton, who will have a 401k,
yeah,
who will have a dental plan. That's what we're not teaching. So when we don't have hope, how can they understand what that means, Charlton?
Well, speaking of hope,
until they understand what that means, yes, these quorums like last night were fine.
Yeah.
But I said, where was Bob Levy and Chris Berman?
Yeah.
Those are the people who needed to be there, Charlton, to make it socially conscious for America, because they would see these one broadcast people on ESPN.
Yeah.
This is their number one team.
Yeah.
Janelle Hill is not the number one team. But if they had to put them on there, you got Marcellus Wiley, you got the blacks who are doing shows, but not the main stage, Charlton. That's what you need. Until America and ESPN, ABC, NBC, Fox, and all that put their top broadcasters out there. You spoke about Gus Johnson, another African-American on Fox, does college football. You talked about James Brown, who does, I believe it's Fox NFL pregame show.
Yeah.
Kurt Menefee does CBS. When we look at these people, Charlton, these are African-American men who have achieved great success, and they're allowed to work in the white corporate world.
Yeah.
They have huge sponsorships, but they need to speak up because they have a platform on Saturday and Sunday to let America know about the social injustice and also the sports injustice, Charlton, about the manipulation of the young black athlete by financial gain for a white institution, Charlton.
Well, Big C, that is so incredible. I'm also going to challenge any broadcaster out there. And Phil Knight, we're asking you to come out and support Charlton and Big C Sports. It's just $1 million donation. It's also a write-off for you. I want to ask you to challenge us. I want you to put Big C Sports up against any broadcast medium that you have out there. The same way athletes compete, let the broadcasters compete. I want to have a day where every broadcaster and sportscaster puts down your teleprompter, take the producer plug out of the air, and just speak extemporaneously. Show if you really have a heart for the business, Are you just there reading to get a paycheck? This is what I want to say. I think it's so powerful. Until I hear Troy Aikman, until I hear Troy Buck, or Bob Costas, or Brent Musburger, or any of these great broadcasters who are at the highest totem pole when it comes to the pay scale, whether it's Tom Hammond or anybody, Jim Nantz, any of these guys that call themselves great, yet they have no social apathy for anyone that's people of color. No African-American young boy can benefit from the tutelage of these people because they're quiet sycophants to the sport. They love you like my coach did, as long as you have a uniform on, but as soon as you take it off, how does Chris Berman look Tom Jackson in the eye and not have any cause about what it helps to help, what is it going to take to help young black men stay safe and young white women stay safe in this business too? I think there's so much racism and sexism in the world of broadcast. Very few get in, but there's still this pushback. So I'm asking for all the people who have a heart for it. If you don't care, that's fine. But if you do have a heart for it, let's reach out like LeBron James is trying. Let's think about what Muhammad Ali stood for when he spoke for all people. Doesn't matter what color you are, what gender you are. That's what Charlton Big C Sports does. We care about everybody. And I'm telling you, whatever you want to do, you got to go out and fight to get what you want, because it's not going to come easy. You got to make it happen. And speaking of making it happen, this final segment is sponsored by One Life America Life Insurance. We're the leaders in the country when it comes to final expense. I'm also looking to hire 1,000 licensed insurance brokers to help offer final expense to American families. We will also pay your E&O insurance up to $1 million per agent. Charlton Big C Sports is trying to put people to work. We're not just saying go find a job. We're trying to actively hire people. Also, when it comes to ordering uniforms anywhere in the country, contact Charlton Big C Sports by Twitter or Facebook. It's called G5 Textiles. We can help make your uniforms for you. So, Big C, as I get into that, I appreciate everyone who has a conscience. I'm so passionate about this project because I am talking about what's affected me over the years, not having someone stand up for me. Sometimes a few people did, but sometimes not enough. And my white brethren found it easier. So we created our own show. And sometimes you have to do that to go out and be successful. Don't wait for someone to give you anything. Go out and take it. Go be the lion. Be bold. You know, I can like or dislike Donald Trump, but one thing I give him credit for, he's bold. Even though he's bigoted and he's sexist, he's bold. And because he's Caucasian, he'll get away with it. If President Obama spoke that same way, they would ostracize him. But there's a method in that. If you want something, you got to be aggressive. You got to be a lion in this business, and you got to go out and get it. So, Big C, as we talk about being a lion and going out and get it, I know Tony Romo was hurt last night in the Seattle game. I just want to get your thoughts on Prescott. We talked about he should be the starter. I would still love him to have maybe 3 or 4 games sitting on the bench learning the system. But your thoughts again on Zach Prescott out of the SEC, Big C.
Zach Prescott, probably the greatest player in Mississippi State history, Charlton, has had a wonderful start to the preseason in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, he has done all that you ask of your number 1 and number 2 draft picks this year in the draft, who are going to be sitting on the bench at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Zach Prescott, Jerry Jones really did his homework on this quarterback because he had some bad luck with quarterbacks over the years.
Yeah.
But Zach Prescott has stepped up and played with poise. He may have had one bad play last night on a handoff in the game against Seattle. But Zach Prescott has showed a pocket presence, Charlton.
Amazing.
He's known when to move in the pocket, and he's found the open receivers. He's a big quarterback, Charlton. He's 6'5", so he doesn't have a problem sitting over the defense. But once again, he's that African-American quarterback that has been labeled that he's going to need time.
Yeah.
You know, but if he needs time, it's the way he's playing in the NFL. What the hell do number 1 and 2 guys need?
Yeah.
They need a new life.
They need something. They need Mel Kiper to say, why did you pick up number 1, Mel? There's a lot of pressure on it. Also, I heard one of the Seattle defenders, I only heard it on a radio broadcast, but I think it was Cam Chancellor. I hope I'm not wrong about it. He talked about trying to tackle Ezekiel Elliott, who I thought should have been the first player taken in the draft, All-American running back out of Ohio State. He showed us against Alabama what kind of player he is. He rushed for over 200 yards against Alabama. The last time someone has put 200 yards on the ground against Alabama, I think it was Ezekiel Elliott. But I heard an all-pro lineman, actually an all-pro linebacker for Seattle saying, I didn't know if this guy was going to give it to me the hip and take it away or run me over. That's a lot of praise for a rookie player coming out of Ohio State. Your thoughts on Ezekiel Elliott? I think he's the best player in the draft. My thoughts, Big C. What do you think on him?
Well, Charlton, when you looked at him coming out of college the last year, he was NCAA's number 3 rush So this was a man who had a lot of promise.
Yeah.
You know, the other guys had a couple of big games that pushed them to the top. And also, it comes down to broadcast. Who's on television every weekend? When you look at the SEC, CBS broadcasts them every weekend. So there's a little bias when it comes to voting. It's like when we talked about McCaffrey out at Stanford.
Yeah.
By the time his games come on the East Coast, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock.
And you're taking a nap about 9 o'clock, Big C, from what I understand. Is that true, Big C?
I went to bed at 8:30 myself.
Okay, 8:30.
I didn't even see the warm-up. So, you know, when you're looking at the guys in the media, and especially after halftime, Charlton, and it's midnight, not many of them are staying up watching these tremendous performances by a tremendous athlete, Charlton. So it's a little shunned in that scenario, but Ezekiel Elliott was that same type of athlete.
Yeah.
When you look at the dominance that he carried throughout the Big Ten, and he and Urban Meyer even had a run when they lost to Michigan State.
Yeah.
Because he was on Urban about not giving him the ball, and Urban admitted, I made a mistake.
He made a mistake.
Giving this man the ball, that was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
So, you know, Ezekiel Elliott is going to bring promise. He's going to bring back that Murray running back.
Oh, yeah, downhill.
Years ago. That's now down in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, you know, you think about how Dallas' offensive line was built. It was built to run the football.
Yeah.
They also have Alfred Morris, who they brought in from the Washington Redskins, who was Robert Griffith's running back at Dallas and had in Washington, and had a couple 1,000-yard seasons in the NFL. So Dallas is really stocked in the backfield. And if they let Dak Prescott play, I feel he can get them 10 to 11 victories, Charles.
Well, Big C, I think that's very important. And our final segment is also sponsored by BeneathThisWingsFoundation.org and also CYNN Entertainment when it comes to promotions. Cynthia Evans, she's the best in Northern California. I also want to say back in the business, Cupid. Big C, I want to ask you this question, and we'll close out with this here because this is a great Friday, and I'm so hyped for football. I think you can hear our passion in our voice. I hate dumb sycophants people, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but if you're a grown man and you don't have the guts to stand up for what's going to make life better for your kids or your family, then why even have a microphone in front of your face? I'm talking to my white brethren. If you're too scared to make a difference in society, to help young kids and women about speaking up about how to help them make the same kind of money you're making, that means you got to open the doors. You got to knock down the glass ceiling of discrimination that's still rampant in our industry. Money and endorsements makes all the difference in the world when it comes to giving people hope. You can pray in a lot of black communities, and I love God too, but sometimes we've been taught to pray instead of protest, and I ain't saying protest by walking in the streets. I'm saying protest by creating your own show. There would not be a Charlton and Big C Sports if we waited for the executives of ABC Sports, of Fox Sports, of CBS Sports, or NBC Sports. If we had to call on the likes of Bob Costas or Brett Musburger or Rich Eisen or any of those guys who've been given the most money you can make in this industry, yet they say nothing to promote the Ali cause. And Ali stood for creating opportunities for everybody. So I'm asking all my black brethren, quit being afraid. For the ones of you who are afraid, I don't expect you to do anything. But for the ones who care about the future for your children, you got to ask your white brethren, will you come march with me into these executive offices and find a solution to end some of this poverty in the inner cities? It's all about money and endorsements. That's why we asked Phil Knight for $1 million. Not about selling tennis shoes. It's about creating jobs. So LeBron James, I'm very proud of you, but I want to see my white brethren do it again. And I'll give you your name just in case you forgot who you are. I'm talking to Troy Aikman, who's played football with black American athletes. Joe Buck, almost all your games include broadcasting about black American athletes. Bob Costas, I mean, come on, Bob. Most of the sports athletes you talk about, they happen to be African American. Talk about how to help their kids.
Albert, who covers nothing but NBA games.
Marv Albert's NBA games.
And that's the National Brothers Association.
Exactly, Big C. So some of you guys, maybe you're just afraid, and that's okay. It takes a lion to live in the jungle. That's why they dominate. They go after what they want. And Charlton and Big C Sports, we're the same way. We're pro everybody, but I'm not pro discrimination. And whenever I see it, I'm going to shout it out, okay? So Charlton and Big C Sports every Monday to Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the iHeartRadio network. If you're going to be about something, be about making a difference in the lives of people. Big C, I'll give it right to you.
Well, Charlton, you speak so eloquently when it comes to that. But, like I said, we have to create hope and opportunity. Athletics is a bit of hope.
Yeah.
The music industry is a bit of hope. But we have to create a quandary of hope in America. We have to find a way to stop the violence. And the violence is not about police, okay? The violence is about within. That's where it has to stop. We have to find a way to perpetuate education. not just sports, but education. There should be a bonus for every African-American kid who graduates high school, and even a double bonus for every African-American kid who graduates college.
Yeah, I agree.
There should be some sort of financial incentives, not only just for that, but it gives them hope. It gives them a foundation to start life with, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking at. Go in and look at some of these graduation rates. We talked about this with the colleges. What is Nick Saban's graduation rate? What is Urban Meyer's graduation rate? We knew the troubles he had down at the University of Florida, so didn't anybody graduate, okay?
Yeah.
They graduated to jail, half the players he had.
I know, it's a shame. It's a shame.
You got to look at these things. You got to hold these coaches accountable. Because somebody leaves early, that's a knock against your graduation rate. It should be mandatory by the NCAA, mandatory, Charlton, that when a head coach or an assistant coach goes into a young high school recruit's home, one of the first things he has to show is the graduation ratio of that university, Charlton.
Yeah.
Show it. Show the graduation ratio of the African-American athletes at that university, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, track and field. And I know it's only 2 swimming.
Yeah.
But, that's something that needs to be shown.
Right.
And without that, you're basically raping these kids mentally.
Well, Big C,
you're taking total advantage and never giving them an opportunity in life.
And I love what you're saying because, it's so powerful. Our show is not about blaming anybody. It's about solutions. And if you have a microphone, if you've been blessed to have a microphone in front of you, some people might believe you. Charlton Big C Sports, you can never say we're not always trying to offer opportunity to people. We're trying to hire insurance agents to offer life insurance. That's putting people back to work. If I can hire 2,000 people to go to work, that helps promote the economy. So we're asking people like Warren Buffett to donate to Charlton and Big C Sports. We're asking people like Phil Knight. We're asking that. But I'm also, before we close, I love football, and I think it brings people together. We're going to see sometimes 100,000 fans in a football stadium of all colors watching these kids play. Most of them are African American who would not get a job at that university and have a harder time finding work than their white brethren. That's a fact, okay? I'm asking my white brethren to stop being afraid to sit with your black brethren when you broadcast games, and let's have a solution for what's it going to take to create an economy for all people. I'm anti-discrimination, I'm anti-racism, I'm anti-sexism. I think if we have people who are at the highest pillars of our economic totem pole, which happen to be white men, I want you to act like a Lyndon Baines Johnson and do what's right to help people of all colors. I think if you can do it, Brent Musburger, if you can do it, Joe Buck, if you can do it, Bob Costas, if you can do it, you guys have a right and a chance to help create some social change. You all mourn Muhammad Ali's passing, but what are you going to do about his message of reaching back to the next kid and the next girl and boy to help them understand that they can have hope if we can just open doors for them? Big C, I give you the last minute. Go right ahead, sir.
Well, Charlton, I would love, because America's a melting pot, let's have a universal quorum about how do we stop the violence, how do we perpetuate employment in America.
Yeah. Don't
just leave it on black athletes and one black broadcaster to do this. Bring the prominent Anglo broadcasters out there, Charlton. We need them. We need the Chris Bermans. We need the Marv Alberts.
Yeah.
We need these people. These are the ones who have to come out and speak against. They make millions of dollars a year by broadcasting only the athletes, only the things that occur on the field. Now, how would a sporting event be in America today, Charlton, without African-American athletes? It wouldn't be there. Yeah, we got Wimbledon, we got golf.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a sporting event.
Yeah.
Okay? Where it takes athletes competing against each other on a continuous basis. What would that game be like? I would like to see an all-white NBA game, an all-white NFL game. And I'm not saying that they're not talented, but would it be exciting? That's the difference, Charlton. And so America needs to understand where we are.
Yeah.
And until white America takes a stance and says this is not going to continue, it will continue, Charlton. We can always speak up. Charlton and Big C Sports can speak up. Janelle Hill can speak up. LeBron can speak up. Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Isaiah Thomas, Marcellus Wiley, Dr. Harry Edwards. We can all speak up, Charlton. But until the prominent white America speaks up, Charlton, this problem will persist.
Well, Big C, that is so powerful. So you guys, it's about hope. That's what I love about Charlton and Big C Sports. Be like the Marines. The Marines, they don't leave anybody behind, Big C. They always help their brethren. I'm asking for all my brethren, men and women, to help make life better for all our young people in this country. We can always make a change. We can make it better. You can listen to us every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, worldwide on Charlton and Big C Sports. We're on the iHeartRadio network, a platform of over 250 million people every single week, and we love giving people ideas on how they can go forward in society. So I want to leave with this. We thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.